You think you know how to speak? You think words just come out of your mouth and that's enough. But let me tell you something. Most people walk around their entire life sounding weak, unclear, and confused. And because of that, nobody listens to them, nobody respects them, and nobody follows them. The truth is, communication is a weapon. It's a skill that separates the average from the exceptional. You can have all the intelligence, all the ideas, all the potential in the world, but if you can't articulate your thoughts with clarity and fire, then you're invisible. The world doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't reward your silence. It rewards the ones who stand up, speak up, and deliver with power. This isn't about fancy words. This is about owning the room, commanding attention, and making your thoughts hit like a hammer. If you want to rise above 99% of people, you've got to train your tongue, sharpen your mind, and harden your delivery. Stay hard. Most people don't even realize how weak they sound when they open their mouths. They don't hear it. They don't notice it. But everyone else does. The likes, the ohms, the you knows. Every time those words slip out, your credibility drops, you're bleeding power without even knowing it. And you wonder why people don't take you seriously, why your ideas don't land, why your voice gets lost in the noise. It's because your words are padded with softness. They're polluted with hesitation, and hesitation is weakness. Nobody wants to follow weakness. Nobody wants to listen to uncertainty. When you speak, every word should feel intentional, like a bullet leaving the chamber. But most people fire blanks. They lace their sentences with insecurity, and that insecurity screams louder than the actual message. You can't expect the world to respect you if you don't respect your own words enough to cut the fat out of them. Communication is not just about talking. It's about delivering something sharp, something that hits, something people can't ignore. And that means stripping away every wasted sound that doesn't belong. Think about it. You're in a room, you've got one shot to say something that could change your life, whether it's an interview, a pitch, a confrontation, whatever it is. And instead of delivering straight fire, your mouth is clogged with that moment's gone. You just told everyone in the room, without even realizing it, that you weren't prepared, you weren't confident, and you weren't locked in. And that impression sticks. People won't remember your excuses. They'll remember that you didn't sound like a leader. They'll remember that you didn't command the moment. All because you never trained your speech. This is the truth. Training your body is one thing, training your mind is another, but training your speech is just as critical. You think clarity comes naturally. It doesn't. It's a skill. And just like running, lifting, or grinding through hell weeks, it has to be trained. You've got to discipline your tongue to stop hiding behind those filler words. You've got to get comfortable with silence. Most people are terrified of silence. That's why they fill the gaps with oh and But silence is power. Silence shows you're in control. Silence gives weight to the words that follow. When you can pause without panic, when you can let that silence sit heavy in the air, that's when people know you're not scrambling. You're not chasing words. You're leading them. And the only way you get there is through repetition, through practice, through awareness. Record yourself speaking, play it back. Count how many filler words you drop. It'll disgust you. It'll piss you off. But that's good. That's fuel. Because once you know the problem, you can fix it. You can start replacing hesitation with intention. You can force yourself to pause instead of saying, You can practice slowing down, thinking clearly, and then delivering words that matter. And when you do that long enough, something changes. People lean in when you talk. They listen closer. Your words hit harder. And it's not because you suddenly got smarter. It's because you stopped leaking weakness into your delivery. Filler words are a crutch. They're what people use when they're afraid of sounding stupid. But the irony is, those crutches make you sound even weaker. The real strength is being okay with a pause, being okay with gathering your thoughts, and then dropping them like bombs. That's what separates leaders from followers, professionals from amateurs, clarity from chaos. Every time you cut a filler word, you sharpen your blade. And every time you sharpen your blade, your words start cutting through the noise. People remember you. People respect you. And people follow you. Not because you shouted louder, not because you used big words, but because you removed the weakness, you killed the hesitation, and you spoke with clarity. Most people think speaking is about the words they say, but that's only half the battle. The other half, the half that separates the weak from the powerful, is how you deliver those words. Your pace, your tone, the way you command the silence between the words. That's what makes people pay attention. That's what makes the difference between someone who gets ignored and someone who owns the room. You can have the smartest idea in the world, but if you spit out too fast, too soft, too sloppy, nobody will hear it. Nobody will care. And then you wonder why people cut you off, why people don't take you seriously, why your message gets lost. It's because you never learned to slow down, to control the rhythm, to let your voice carry authority instead of desperation. When you speak too fast, it shows you're nervous. It shows you're afraid of losing the room. You're trying to dump every word out before anyone interrupts you. That's not confidence, that's insecurity. And when people hear it, they don't trust it. They tune you out. But when you slow down, when you take control of your pace, when you drop each sentence like it's heavy, people lean in. They start listening because your voice demands it. Confidence isn't about how loud you are. It's about how much space you're willing to take up without rushing, without panic. And the silence, don't ever underestimate the silence. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you can use. Most people run from it. They can't handle the pause. They fill it with filler words or nervous laughter. But when you can let a pause breathe, when you can hold that space without flinching, you send a message that's louder than any word. You're telling everyone in that room that you are in control, that you are not afraid, that you decide when the next word drops. Tone is the second weapon. You can say the same sentence two different ways and get two completely different results. Weak tone, flat tone, high-pitched, nervous tone, it kills the power of your words. But a strong tone, a steady tone, one that rises and falls with purpose. That's how you grab attention. That's how you make your words stick. Most people live in one gear. They either mumble in monotone or they shout everything like volume alone makes them strong. Neither works. Real strength is in variation, in control, in knowing when to push, when to soften, when to punch, when to hold back. It's like combat. You don't swing wild on every strike. You pace yourself, you wait for the opening, you land with precision. That's how your tone should be. Every word is a strike. Every pause is a setup. Every shift in your voice keeps the listener locked in, and you don't get that kind of control by accident. You get it by training. You've got to record yourself, play it back, listen to the way you sound when you're under pressure. Do you rush? Do you mumble? Do you crack? That's the mirror test. Most people won't like what they hear. Most people will realize they sound weaker than they thought. That realization hurts, but it's necessary. Because once you know the truth, you can fix it. You can start practicing slowing down. You can force yourself to pause even when it feels uncomfortable. You can learn to let silence hang heavy without panicking. And over time, that discomfort becomes strength. You stop rushing. You stop sounding nervous. You start owning the pace, controlling the tone, and bending the silence to your will. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about sounding intentional. It's about sending a signal with every word, every pause, every shift in your voice. A signal that says you are in control, you are confident, you are worth listening to. When you master pace and tone, you don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to talk over people. You don't need to prove yourself with noise. You command attention by how you deliver. People stop scrolling, stop checking their phones, stop zoning out. They lean in, they focus, they hear you. Not because you spoke more, but because you spoke with power. Most people speak like they're asking for permission. Their words leaked out, their tone shakes, their energy feels soft, and then they wonder why nobody listens. You can have the best point in the world, the smartest idea in the room, but if you don't deliver it with conviction, it's already dead. Conviction is what gives words their power. Conviction is what makes people stop scrolling, stop talking, stop moving, and pay attention. Without conviction, your words are just sounds. With conviction, they become weapons. They cut through resistance, they break through doubt, they grab people by the throat and force them to listen. And here's the truth. Most people will never learn this because they're too afraid. They're afraid of judgment, afraid of being wrong, afraid of failing. And that fear bleeds into their voice, and the world hears it. The world doesn't follow fear. The world follows certainty. When you speak with conviction, you don't mumble. You don't look down. You don't hide behind weak language like, I think, or maybe. You plant your words like stakes in the ground. You say, this is where I stand. This is what I believe. This is the truth I'm delivering. And people feel it. They feel the strength in your delivery, the certainty in your tone, the force behind your message. Even if they don't agree, they respect it. Because conviction shows backbone. Conviction shows that you've thought it through, that you're not wavering, that you're not playing small. And that's what people are starving for. They're surrounded by hesitation all day. They're surrounded by half-hearted voices, weak opinions, timid communication. Then you show up with conviction and suddenly you're different. Suddenly, you're the one they remember. Conviction doesn't mean shouting. Conviction doesn't mean aggression for the sake of aggression. It means alignment. It means your body, your tone, your words, your energy are all synced up, all pointing in the same direction. It means you believe what you're saying so strongly that it radiates out of you. And belief is contagious. People can tell when you don't believe your own words. They can hear the cracks, the hesitation, the uncertainty. And once they hear it, they stop trusting you. But when you're locked in, when your belief matches your delivery, people feel that. They can't ignore it. That's the difference between noise and influence. The way you build conviction is the same way you build any other strength. By training. You can't expect to sound confident if you never practice. You can't expect to deliver with force if you never prepare. You've got to do the reps. You've got to rehearse what matters. You've got to study your words, test your tone, sharpen your delivery until it feels natural. Conviction isn't about faking confidence. It's about earning it. It's about putting in the work behind the scenes so that when the moment comes, you don't just speak, you strike. You don't just communicate, you dominate. People feel the difference because they know you didn't show up unprepared. You showed up trained, locked in, ready to go, and here's the part most people don't want to hear. Conviction requires courage. You can't speak with conviction if you're still hiding. You can't speak with conviction if you're still worried about every little opinion. Conviction means risk. It means standing on your words even when people doubt you, even when they push back, even when they laugh. And most people won't take that risk. They'd rather stay safe. They'd rather water down their voice so nobody can attack it. But in doing that, they also make sure nobody respects it. Playing small feels safe, but it kills influence. Speaking soft feels safe, but it kills authority. If you want your words to matter, you've got to stop protecting yourself. You've got to deliver like your voice is a hammer and the world is the nail. When you practice conviction, when you embrace the silence, when you strip out the fillers, when you structure your thoughts, it all comes together in this one thing. Weight. Your words have weight. They land. They stick. People don't forget them. They don't dismiss them. They carry them because you carried them first. Conviction is what makes the difference between someone who talks and someone who moves people. And if you want to articulate your thoughts more clearly than 99% of people, then you have to stop leaking doubt. You have to stop sounding like you're unsure. You have to stop hiding behind weak delivery. You have to lock in, believe it, and then speak it with everything you've got.